Here we go again. The police. A man in crisis is suffocated to death after being held down by the police. Here's the body cam. Bring it back. Stop resisting. All right, cuffs on, cuffs on. Put up the picture full mass. This is a disturbing story. No reason to hold him down that long, says the mother of a black male who allegedly died from suffocation after 4 cops held him face down for 19 minutes during his mental health crisis. Mother of the black male in Charlotte who died in police custody in 2022 while mentally distressed and complaining of double vision and trouble breathing is suing the city and 4 of its police officers for excessive force, claiming their mistreatment of him caused her son's death. The way police handled Mr. Jovontay Williams, a former All-American college football player, after responding to a 911 call by a woman reporting gunshots outside a home in the early morning of June 13th, 2022, has been known since 2023 when the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department released bodycam footage of the incident. So after officers noticed empty shell casings outside the woman's residence, Williams, 32, was found on the back porch of a nearby home. Police quickly determined that he was unarmed and undergoing a mental health crisis. Quote, acting erratically, exhibiting stress and delirium, CMPD officials later said in a statement. The body cam video footage showed officers approach and grab Williams, lower him to the ground, and cuff his hands behind his back, putting him face down in a prone position on the porch for about 20 seconds. Then they turned him on his side while holding his body and feet down. And at 2:13 a.m. called for medics to come to the scene. EMTs did not arrive for another 19 minutes. Williams told officers he was lightheaded, seeing double, and was going to die. Quote, he said, quote, going to die, end quote. He also said, quote, I can't breathe, end quote. Williams told police, according to the lawsuit, yes, you can. An officer replied, you cops are dead wrong. Williams responded, and then perhaps prophetically, quote, if I die, it is on you. Help me. Can I go through that exchange one more time so you understand this brother's last few moments? He says, I can't breathe. Another cop responds, yes, you can. You cops are dead wrong, Williams responded. And then perhaps prophetically, if I die, it is on you. Help me. There's more. When the fire department arrived at about 2:23 a.m., Williams continued yelling and moaning and had become, quote, unresponsive and lethargic. By the time EMS medics approached him at 2:35 a.m., when they requested removal of the handcuffs to transfer him to an ambulance, the autopsy report stated he's handcuffed. Understand this scenario, he's handcuffed. He's in a position that would lead to suffocation. Officers know this. He's still handcuffed. It takes the emergency medical team to tell the cops, uncuff him. uncuff him so that we can actually treat him. This is not a criminal disturbance. It is a mental health call. This is an ambulance call all the way. Neither police nor the firefighters had checked his pulse, nor taken the steps to ensure Williams was breathing properly, even though he told them, "I can't breathe." This is in the lawsuit. The medic team found him with fixed pupils, a Glasgow coma scale of 3 indicating severe brain injury, and in severe respiratory distress, the lawsuit says. Williams was transported to a hospital where he was intubated due to labored breathing, so they knew he couldn't breathe on his own. He died multiple hours later. Now, an autopsy report issued by forensic pathologists later retained by the family found that Williams died from basically restraint suffocation, meaning based on how his body was positioned and the officers being the ones who positioned his body that way, he died from being positioned in that manner. That is how he died, according to the forensic report. It is a homicide. Jerry Hampton and Krista Williams, the parents of Mr. Jovontay Williams, said they want to see changes in how police and other first responders treat people in police custody who are experiencing medical and mental distress. Quote, "My son is gone, and it's a tragedy," said Krista Ann Williams, now representing her son's estate in the lawsuit, told WBTV in 2023, quote, "It was no reason to hold him down that long. Williams had a 3-year-old son at the time of his death. He played football at Johnson C. Smith University from 2012 to 2014. He was an All-American linebacker. He had no history of known medical issues prior to the incident," the lawsuit says. The lawsuit alleges that the city of Charlotte and Fort named police officers Timothy Abramo, Zavon Joseph, Brenton Thomas, and Jacob Grigg committed federal and state laws against use of excessive force and committed assault and battery against Mr. Williams, whose emergent medical crisis they ignored with deliberate indifference, causing him to suffer physical pain, mental terror, and ultimately death. This is so sad. It's unavoidable if you continue to hold a person in a position that they have absolutely no ability to protect themselves in. He's handcuffed. It's unavoidable. Being held in that position long enough, he dies. Period. There's no reasonable individual who would think holding somebody in that position for that period of time would somehow be healthy. And what's the threat? Usually when an officer does a move like this, is short-lived, or at least supposed to be, because it could lead to death. But if there's no ongoing threat, the man is handcuffed. This isn't a criminal disturbance call, it's a medical call. Why would you then create a worse medical emergency than the one you're responding to? All right, Rickey, thoughts here?
Yeah, Dr. Richey, first of all, thank you for having me. It's something that has to be fixed. Where's the accountability for officers that kill innocent people? Or just like you said, where there's no threat. And then, you have a real emergency going on. What do you do? What do you do? Well, I have a family member that has real bad anxiety, and if he spazzes out, who do you call? You call 911 first, or an ambulance first, because if you call a police officer, something like this can happen, and this has been happening for years. And it's like, why is there so no tolerance? They're so impatient when it comes to Black folks, and you have all of the patience and love and sympathy for white people, and they have killed many. It's hundreds of stories like this that's out there that has happened over the years where there was no violence, and that's why it's so important to not only vote during presidential elections, do gubernatorial elections, local elections, or whatever, where, mayoral elections, city council elections, county commission, or whatever, our numbers always drop during midterm elections and local elections or whatever, because, here's, and district attorneys that can go out and prosecute cops that commit crimes like this. This is a crime. And I hope that they're held accountable. But when these federal district attorneys in midterm elections and local elections, we need to have turnout. This is a consequence. That's why nothing is being done. Nothing is going to be done.
Yeah, and it's not always about policy. It's about leadership. And leadership, the right leadership, could take that same scenario and make do with the policy currently that's on the books and do the right thing. We'll bring you updates as